A lone fisherman was stranded on a tiny rock, waves rising, the sea ready to swallow him whole. For 3 days, no one had seen his son, only a shattered boat drifting in the storm. And as the tide closed in, one question remained. Would rescue come before the ocean claimed another life? Everyone told him to give up. The sea had already claimed his son, but deep inside, he knew they were wrong. Matt would never sail into a storm like that. Something else had happened out there, and Pop was ready to risk everything to uncover the truth. As the last light bled across the horizon, he dragged on his heavy oilskin trees, a reminder of the life that had already taken so much from him. The boat waited like a silent accomplice. The smell of salt and rust burned his lungs as he checked the engine one final time. He knew it was madness. But sitting ashore, doing nothing, felt worse than dying at sea. Under a sky slowly filling with stars, Pop pushed his boat into the black water. He had no map, no plan, only the gnawing need to search. Hours slipped away, with the boat's dull rocking, each creak like a cruel reminder of silence. His eyes burned as he scanned the horizon, desperate for even a shadow of his son's vessel. But the ocean stared back, vast, merciless, and empty. He hadn't gone far when the ocean struck back. A wall of water slammed into the boat like a battering ram, hurling him across the deck. Salt stung his eyes as he clawed his way upright, spitting curses into the wind. These waters had a reputation: calm one minute, murderous the next. But Pop wasn't just any fisherman. He had danced with storms before, and he knew this sea was about to test him like never before. Hour after hour, the sea transformed into a living beast. The wind howled like a predator closing in. Waves reared higher with every strike, and sheets of rain hammered the deck without mercy. Pop thought about turning back just for a moment. But then the heavens tore open. A blinding flash carved the sky in two. Thunder exploded like cannon fire, and the ocean around him turned into a black, raging battlefield. The storm he had feared was here, and it wanted him. Waves slammed against the jagged rocks like war drums, each one threatening to tear the island apart. The fisherman clung desperately to the last scrap of ground, the water rising fast, swallowing everything around him. Just when it felt like the ocean was ready to claim its victim, a distant roar cut through the storm. A helicopter-right searchlight slicing the darkness appeared overhead. But in a storm this violent, could it reach him? Before the sea dragged him under forever, the storm raged on, a furious symphony of wind, waves, and rain. The helicopter battled against the elements, its searchlight piercing the gloom like a beacon of hope. As it drew closer, the fisherman saw the urgency in the rescuers' movements, the taut lines, the focused expressions. They were racing against time. The waves crashed around him, icy fingers that clawed at his clothes, pulling him toward the depths. The rocks beneath him vibrated with each blow, threatening to crumble beneath his weight. Salt water stung his eyes, blurring his vision, but through the pain and the fear, he held on. He watched as the helicopter dipped lower, its shadow a fleeting moment of relief in the darkness. Then it was gone, vanished into the heart of the storm. Had they seen him, would they return? Hope flickered, fragile as a candle flame in the wind. As the minutes stretched into an eternity, the water rose steadily, inch by agonizing inch, lapping at his knees, then his waist. The fisherman's heart pounded against his ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the darkness. Was this the end? Would the sea claim him, his bones lost to the waves forever? But just when his strength was about to fail him, when the icy water threatened to pull him under, a lifeline appeared. A rope ladder dropped from the helicopter, swaying precariously in the wind. It hung just out of reach, a taunt to his flailing limbs. With renewed determination, he kicked out, trying to position himself under the ladder. The fisherman's fingers, stiff with cold, grasped the rough rope, one by one, pulling himself upward with the strength born of desperation. Each pull was a victory, inching him closer to safety. The helicopter swayed, buffeted by the wind, but the rescuers held firm. Their voices, though strained, were steady, guiding him, encouraging him to keep going. At last, his head broke through the surface, gasping for breath. Strong hands reached out, pulling him aboard. The fisherman collapsed onto the warm floor of the helicopter, shivering uncontrollably. His body, numb from the ordeal, felt alien to him. As the helicopter flew away from the churning sea, the fisherman looked back at the dark waters that had so nearly claimed him. Relief washed over him, mingled with gratitude for the skilled rescuers who had brought him back from the brink. Wrapped in blankets, sipping hot chocolate, the fisherman recounted his harrowing tale to the emergency services team. His voice, hoarse but resolute, described the terrifying struggle against the rising tide, the fleeting hope offered by the searchlight, and the agonizing wait for the rescue. As the sun began its slow ascent, casting tentative rays of light over the horizon, the fisherman emerged from the station, blinking against the brightness. His ordeal felt like a distant nightmare, the chilling touch of the water, the oppressive weight of the storm, the suffocating grip of fear. He looked out at the sea, its surface now calm, almost serene. It was hard to believe that such fury could lurk beneath its placidity. A quiet strength had returned to his shoulders, a resilience forged in the fires of his ordeal. His face, weathered by years at sea, now bore the added lines of worry, etched there by the anxious nights spent searching for his son. The sea, his lifelong companion, had become both solace and torment. It was a place of adventure, of challenge, and now of grief and hope. As he walked away from the station, each step echoed the resilience of the human spirit, the indomitable will to survive against all odds. Behind him, the sun rose higher, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, a new day dawning over a sea that had tested and humbled him. The fisherman, his eyes fixed on the horizon, knew he would never forget the night the sea had claimed him. It was a story he would carry in his heart, a reminder of the fragility of life and the indomitable strength of the human spirit. The townspeople, drawn together by the shared peril, stood shoulder to shoulder, their faces etched with worry and anticipation. The Coast Guard, their movements precise and efficient, organized the search, their faces grim but determined. The doctor, his gaze intense, tended to the injured, offering comfort and expertise. The young mother, her hands clasped in prayer, watched over the harbor, her son's laughter a haunting echo in her ears. The local priest, a beacon of calm amidst the chaos, offered words of solace and strength, reminding them that even in the darkest of nights, hope is a guiding star. Each person present, bound by the invisible threads of community, held their breath as the helicopter disappeared into the gray expanse. Their collective hope, a silent prayer carried on the wind. As the minutes ticked by, the tension mounted, the silence broken only by the mournful cry of gulls overhead. The Coast Guard, their voices crackling over the radio, coordinated their efforts, their every move a calculated strategy in the face of the unforgiving sea. Then, a voice, strong and clear, cut through the static, shattering the tense silence. The discovery, the rescuer's elation palpable, resonated across the harbor. Relief, like a tangible wave, washed over the crowd, their faces breaking into smiles, tears welling in their eyes. Together, they'd weathered the storm, their unity forged in the crucible of shared fear and the triumph of hope. As the rescued fisherman was brought ashore, the crowd surged forward, their cheers echoing his safe return. In that moment, the bonds of community were strengthened, their shared experience a testament to the power of hope against the darkest of odds.